the community is the customer. And this is the idea that more and more in not only global health and development, but in social activism generally, we see the power and voice and agency of community showing up as the driver of change. And, you know, still we have global architecture, post-colonial, post-war architecture where the global north tells the global south what to do. And I'm not saying that hasn't disappeared, but we are in a period where we're starting to see so much more capacity and so much more agency and institutional capability in countries and communities around the world. The communities are standing up and actually, you know, requiring a voice and demanding change and demanding to be part of the solution and architect their own solution. And while, again, there's been some of that for a long time and we aren't through that journey, it is in a profound trend that I think will continue pretty much in one direction with some setbacks. And it means that we need to be much more, you know, standing aside to let communities decide their own fate and do and think of activism that way. The third thing I talk about is the leveling the playing field, the trend that we all hear about and know about, but and is that there is more and more work that has been shaped in the last few years around equity as it applies to race, equity as it applies to gender, to sexual orientation, to tribalism, to class. And we're seeing in the social sector particularly, but in conversations, policies, communities around the world, more and more attention to this trend. And of course, it's always been at the core of a lot of social activism, but there's been some serious changes in the last few years to make this even a priority for both companies and nonprofits and government alike. So I think that this is radically reshaping the field of social activism as we see both the community voice show up, but also where we're intentionally thinking about how do we make sure that, frankly, fewer people that look like me are in charge. And that will take a while. It's not going to be easy. It's going to threaten power structures, but I believe very strongly that we're on the right path there, and that's positive.